one of the builds for episode Heresy that I was looking forward to the most was going to be the handheld Supernova setup. Handheld Supernova was barely utilized at all, but those who knew how strong it was very excited to see that they ended up buffing it even more. It was already disgusting, but they ended up changing it, so now instead of throwing out 5 projectiles, you're going to throw out 9. Now in return, they did lower the damage very little, but overall it is a massive damage increase. It's better for ad clear now, and it even just one-shot single targets even more. And if you haven't noticed from the gameplay quite yet, just look at how much grenade energy I'm getting back and the amount of orbs I'm making. This build is genuinely one of the strongest Warlock builds in the game. You're going to be unkillable, have permanent volatile, have permanent grenade abilities, and even be able to spam supers because of some of the other stuff that we're going to play into. If you haven't given handheld Supernova a shot, I really hope this build can convince you to do so. And really quick, I hate saying these things at the beginning of the video, but they really do work. Currently 75.8% of people that watch my videos are not subscribed, so if you do enjoy and find yourself coming back to the channel, consider doing all the normal YouTube stuff. It really does go a long way with helping the channel out, and I truly appreciate all the support. And finally, if you are looking for people to play with or just to hang out in general, be sure to head over to our community Discord server. Over there you'll find an LFG system, chat channels, and even ways to keep up with everything news related to Destiny and even my content. We would love to have you be a part of the community, and I hope to see you there. But that's enough of the intro and self promo. Let's jump into what was already a very good build, but now it's even better because it got buffed. All right, first things first, if you don't know, we need to take a look at handheld Supernova. I know a lot of people don't even know how to gain access to this, but first off, you just have to run Chaos Accelerant. So this is just going to buff all of your grenades. Specifically, you have to run the magnetic grenade, and now you can charge the magnetic grenade up, and then you'll release the handheld Supernova. There are 2 exotics you can pair with this, one being Controverse Hold, and then one being Verity's Brow. I like Controverse Hold better, which I'll explain more here in a second, but Verity's Brow did also get a buff to make it a lot easier to keep the uptime of the grenade regeneration and damage up, and you can basically make your handheld Supernova just do an insane amount of damage. Now, the reason I like Controverse Hold is because it has the exotic perk Chaotic Exchanger. Resist incoming damage while charging your Void Grenade with Chaos Accelerant. Charge Void Grenades, return grenade energy on hit. So with Controverse Hold, every single time you do damage with handheld Supernova, you get a very hefty chunk of grenade energy back. When you pair this with any demolitionist weapon, you can absolutely spam these grenades over and over again. And then the cherry on top, when you are charging your handheld Supernova, you will gain 20% damage reduction while you are holding it. Now, the reason I do prefer Controverse Hold over Verity's Brow is, one, you do get to spam grenades a lot more. With Verity's, you do get the grenade regen, and you can also buff your teammates by granting them grenade regen, which is nice, but the grenade regen from Verity doesn't even come close to what Controverse Hold can provide. However, you do get the benefit of increasing the damage of your handheld Supernova by 100% if you do have max stacks. But from my playtesting, even in harder content when I'm 30 light levels below, the handheld Supernova without a damage buff already is able to get one-shot kills. So in my opinion, buffing the damage of the handheld Supernova is a nice benefit, but in most content, again, even 30 light levels under, I didn't particularly need it. With the buff it did receive to gain more projectiles, you can basically run up, use it like a shotgun, just barrel stuff any major, and in most content you are going to be able to one-shot it without the damage boost. Now, if you are going into a GM's and you're trying to do a massive amount of damage to a champion, potentially even one-shot, Verity will be better in that regard. But I think just overall, having that increased grenade regen, since it already does a ton of damage with the buff it received, is a little bit better. However, it is totally up to you. Both work extremely well with the build, and just be sure to let me know which one you prefer in the comments below. But now let's jump into the subclass and take a further look at how we're going to amplify this. First off, we're going to be running Feed the Void. So defeat a target with a void ability to activate Devour. Your Devour effects are improved, restoring additional health and grenade energy. So since we're going to be able to spam handheld Supernovas all the time, it is extremely easy to get kills with them. You're always going to have Devour up 24/7. This is great for your survivability because, again, you will gain that additional health, and on top of that, you gain the additional grenade energy. Pairing this with Controverse Hold, you're going to be able to get your grenade back so quick, and you can just spam it all the time over and over again. Now, for other stuff in the build, I do just run an Empowering Rift because we will have Devour, so that's pretty much what we're healing from. Empowering will just be good for some extra boss damage. I do run Nova Bomb for some boss damage as well. If you want to run Nova Warp, this is also extremely good because you can charge your super so fast with everything going on. But again, this is more of an ad clear. You already kind of have ad clear with the setup in general. general, so more boss damage is better in my opinion. Then for fragments, Echo of Explosion, so avoidability, final blows cause targets to explode. This is great because now our handheld Supernova will now blow enemies up, get even better at clear. On top of that, Echo of Cessation, so whenever you defeat a volatile target, will make a Void Breach, and if we finish a target, everyone around the finished target will become volatile. This is great because Void Breaches will actually grant us class ability energy, and we'll be playing into finishers a good amount with this build, so more volatile is great. Next up is just Echo of Undermining, so our Void Grenades can weaken targets. Typically, your handheld Supernova is going to kill most things in the game, but if you do throw it on a boss or champion, you'll do a hefty chunk of damage, weaken them, and then it's just extremely easy to clean up. If you want to run any other fragment here, you totally can, but there really isn't too much that plays into it. But then the final main one is going to be Echo of Instability, so defeating targets with grenades grant volatile rounds to your void weapons. Since we can throw grenades all the time, always easily get kills with the handheld Supernova, we're going to have permanent volatile rounds for our weapon, and this can even play into our artifact. But speaking of weapons, you do want to run a void weapon, and honestly the best one here is going to be Velocity Baton. This thing is just absolutely disgusting with this build. It can get Demolitionist, it can get Attrition Orbs, and then its Origin trait also makes it so whenever you deal damage, you'll get a small amount of ability energy to your lowest cooldown. So with all those perks combined together, if you do have a Demo Enhance, you're going to be getting 11% grenade energy on top of Devour, on top of the Controverse whole granting energy back, and you could just spam grenades all the time. You also are going to be making a ton of orbs with Attrition Orbs. This can also further play into armor mods and also grant you armor charge, which is going to play heavy into our armor mods. And then you even have the Origin trait, so since the main ability you're using all the time is your handheld Supernova, you're just going to get even more grenade energy just while it's sitting there doing damage. Since this is also an area denial, you can basically shoot this everywhere on the map and you're going to have permanent volatile rounds. So as the Void Fire, I guess, is just sitting there cooking, it's constantly applying volatile, constantly igniting the volatile, and you can just clear an entire room with this one gun. It kind of comes into a flow where you use the Velocity Baton to clear everything, use your handheld Supernova to take a major out, and just keep this chain going over and over again. Since it can get demo, you will never have to reload the gun since you can spam your grenade literally every 1 second, and it just plays so well into this build. Now obviously I know not everyone has Velocity Baton, but you can run pretty much any void weapon you want with this build. I would recommend having demo on it because since you can spam your grenade so much all the time, that means you just never have to reload the gun. But if you do have a Velocity Baton, I would highly recommend trying it out with this build. It is absolutely disgusting. But again, if you don't, and even if you want to run something like Repulsor Brace and not have demo and just rely on Controverse and also Devour giving you a grenade back, that's totally cool. But that's kind of the freedom of this build. You can run literally whatever you want to. Even Choir 1 would be good. But if you want to just spam your grenades 24/7, this exact Velocity Baton here is just disgusting. But now let's jump into the artifact and talk about how we can further improve this. One of those is going to be Volatile Marksman. So Rapid Void Weapon, Precision Hits, and Final Blows will grant volatile rounds. So now the Velocity Baton has another way of granting volatile. Again, you will pretty much always have it with Echo of Instability, but this is a great little benefit to have if you somehow manage to not get a grenade kill, which is extremely hard to do with this build. But next up is just Maligned Harvest. So Rapid Applying Volatile causes your next instance of void weapon damage to cause a weakening burst. So since you're applying volatile all the time, your Velocity Baton can now just weaken, your grenade can weaken with Echo of Undermining, and you can just have everything on the battlefield weaken. But then finally we have Void Flux. Whenever we defeat a weakened target, Void Weapons applies volatile to nearby targets. So again, since we're going to be able to apply weaken with the Velocity Baton and our grenade, this just means we'll have even more volatile. The whole battlefield is going to be volatile, and you just have a ton of damage with your grenade. Those are pretty much the three main artifact perks that you do need for the setup, but obviously running something like Dreadful Finisher is good to have more special ammo for your Velocity Baton, Particle Reconstruction for any DPS needs that you're doing. But just know, take these three, you're going to have everything volatile, you're going to have infinite grenades, you're going to have everything weakened. It is just gross. Now for stats and armor mods, I would definitely recommend 100 Resilience to get your 30% damage reduction, and then go for 100 Discipline. Since you want to spam your grenade all the time, you want to get your Discipline up as much as possible. I then play it to just get 80 Recovery, just so I can spam some Rifts a lot more often. Again, with the Void Breaches, it's really easy to keep these up. This can play into some of our armor mods, but on top of that, again, it is just nice to have an additional way to do some extra boss DPS. Your melee Pocket Singularity really isn't the greatest. It's nice, I guess, to just push someone away or grant volatile just in a sticky situation. But Empowering Rift, I think, is better to play into, again, because you'll just do more damage to whatever boss you're shooting at. But now for the armor mods, this is what I'm running if you'd like to copy it down. But starting off with the helmet, I'm running a Harmonic Siphon, so rapid void weapon final blows creates an orb of power. This means my Velocity Baton can now create even more orbs. Pairing that with attrition orbs, you have orbs literally everywhere. And then I do run double ashes to assets. Now these do have diminishing returns, so if you want to take one off, you totally can. But to be completely honest, there isn't anything too crazy here to run over double ashes to assets. You could throw in a dynamo, I guess, if you want to, if you are using your class ability a lot. But with double ashes to assets, you're going to gain bonus super energy on grenade kills. Since you can spam your grenade all the time, you're going to get such a massive benefit out of these two. And again, this is what's going to allow you to spam your super over and over again. If you pair this with Nova Warp, you literally can have your super in 5 seconds if there are enough ads. But if you are running Nova Bomb, this is just a great benefit to have, again, for that extra single target damage. Now for my arms, I do like to run a Harmonic Loader so I increase the reload speed of void weapons. Now you don't need this if you are running a demo weapon. However, every now and then you do have to throw in a reload, so it is nice to have just to reload it pretty quick. And if you aren't running a demo weapon, I would definitely recommend a Harmonic Loader. But then I also run Bolster Detonation and Momentum Transfer, so whenever I deal damage with my handheld Supernova, I'm going to get class ability energy and I'm going to get melee energy. Again, we spam grenades all the time, so we might as well take additional benefits to get our other abilities back. Now, for our chest piece, always go through resistant mods, swap this out for whatever content you're going into. I say that literally every single time. But for our boots, I do like to run an Innervation, Orbs of Restoration, and Absolution. So Innervation gets grenade energy on orb pickup. Orbs of Restoration gives energy to whatever your lowest ability is. And then Absolution, so whenever we pick an orb up, we're going to get energy for everything. So again, as you already saw from the gameplay, all the orbs you're making, this just further plays into getting that grenade back, so you can throw it literally all the time. It honestly may be too much grenade regen. You could 100% probably get by with running weapon surges if that's something you would like to do. I typically wouldn't do that because we are going to be running special ammo finishers. Since we're mainly playing into a grenade launcher, this is just nice to have so we can have infinite special ammo. If you're not using Velocity Baton, feel free to take literally whatever else you want here. But if you are playing with it, it is disgusting to have this. Now, proximity ward, so we gain a powerful overshield. We can go for a finisher. This is great so we can just easily secure a kill to get our special ammo. And then also, if you remember from our fragments with the Echo of Cessation, we're going to make enemies volatile when we finish. So going for finishers is very strong for this build. And then powerful attractions, so whenever we use our class ability, we can pick up all the orbs around us. Again, we can use our class ability a good amount with our armor mods, with void breaches and everything of the sort. This will proc everything else, and we'll just be able to spam grenades even more often. And then for the final part of the build, this is the Transmog I'm running. I went for a very dark mage, I guess, theme look here. I have pretty much some sort of void glow on every single armored piece here, and I took advantage of the controversial ornament that pairs with the class item. Overall, I think it turned out looking pretty sick, and if you want to make your Warlock look like this, definitely be sure to copy it down. But that is all for this build. Let me know what y'all think about it in the comments below. If you want to spam your grenade over and over again, which is most Warlock's fantasies, you 100% want to give this build a try. Again, if you don't have Velocity Baton, feel free to run any other void weapon with demo. You just want to have a way to proc volatile since you're going to have it literally all the time. But having something with demo with that extra grenade energy is great. Even if you have a Recluse, the origin trait for that grants 5% energy on every kill, so that would also work. And then as a final note, again, if you want to run this with Verity's Brow, you totally can. Just know you're going to get more damage with a little less grenade spam. But with Controverse, you already do a good amount of damage, but you can actually just grenade spam it and you get that extra little bit of damage reduction. I prefer Controverse, but if you are a Verity user, again, be sure to sound off in the comments below and tell me how wrong I am. But I genuinely do believe in most aspects of the game, if you are going for grenade spam, Controverse is for sure the better option. Anyways, though, that's going to do it all for me. However you choose to build it, I wish y'all the best of luck on putting the build together for yourself. I want to thank y'all so much for watching, and I hope y'all have a great day. Peace.